once, yeah, let's just call him T for convenience sake. He was like G-Eazy. He had the slick back hair, he had the tattoos, the whole bad boy vibe, and we met on an online dating app. I'm sure you guys know it. It's the swipe right, swipe left kind of situation. We went on our first date, and looking back on it, we didn't have very much chemistry. We would talk about things, but they were either more serious, and so maybe that's why I thought that we were connecting, and so I actually ended up really liking him. I told him that, and he comes back to me with, I like you too, but I'm just gonna end up hurting you. I'm too complicated. Like, so classic. It's so crazy for me to think back onto like all these red flags that he had, and how I convinced myself that I could be happy with somebody that had so much work they needed to do on themselves. So after that conversation, we didn't talk for maybe 3 weeks to a month, and this will tell you the type of person that he is. So T messaged me the day after his birthday, and he was like, hey. And I was like, hey, what's up? And I'm like freaking out inside because I haven't talked to him in so long, right? So I'm like, he's thinking about me, he's texting me, and he's like, it was my birthday yesterday. And I was like, oh, no way, happy birthday. I totally knew it was his birthday. And then he just replies with thanks. And that was it. Like, he didn't want to have an actual conversation. All he wanted to do was just tell me that it was his birthday and call it a day. And it was the weirdest thing. 2 months go by and he texts me out of nowhere. And at this point, I've like kind of made my peace with it, but like, you know, when you tell yourself that you have closure and that you're better than this and that you're gonna move forward, and then you really just don't because they text you again, and then immediately you're like putty all over again. We go on a super casual hangout, and he tells me all the things that I wanted to hear. So he told me that I was right, I was the one that got away, my ego was just poof. He ends this conversation by saying that he wants to go on another date, he wants a second chance. I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea because you really did hurt me. And he was like, okay, well, just come, and like, if anything, it's a free meal. And like, me loving free food, I'm just like, ugh, okay, you won. Even inside, I'm like so happy, I'm so excited. Let me take you back to this day, okay? This is the incident. This is where it all went down. I'm just gonna take you back, and I'm gonna plug my skincare routine real quick. But I've been using the NEUTROGENA Deep Clean Purifying line, and I freaking love it. So the new Deep Clean Purifying line is clinically proven to unclog your pores while helping to preserve your skin's essential moisture without stripping it or leaving an oily residue. So in the mornings, like, I like to start with the gel scrub because not only is it getting like that really deep clean, but it's also exfoliating. So you're getting all that like dead skin cells to get like a nice smooth surface for when I'm applying my makeup. And then I like to follow up with a quick wipe down with their micellar wipes just to make sure that I really got into my pores. And it's great because their wipes use triple micellar technology to clean and purify my skin. Another red flag, this guy was like low-key, high-key judgmental of my clothes or like my outfit. Like, I was from the west, or I was living in the west side, so I was living in this neighborhood called Kits in Vancouver, and sometimes I would wear things and he'd be like, oh, that's so Kit. So I really wanted to wear something to impress him or like look cute for him. And just as I'm saying this, I'm just like, Nina, why? So all that we had established is that we were gonna meet on this day and at 5:30. We didn't establish where. And so that's what we were texting about this morning. So he messaged me and he was like, hey, where do you want to go tonight? I was like, oh, let's go somewhere in Kids Beach, because then I was thinking that we could eat dinner and then we could go for like a little walk or something on the beach, because that's what I do. And so he was like, yeah, that works. Any ideas? So I say local at 5:30, to which I get no response. I never get a reply. I just figured that he was probably busy at work. And so after I finished my classes, I'm about to hop on the bus and I text him, hey, are we still good for local at 5:30? And so I'm on the bus, he still doesn't reply, and he just doesn't ever reply. I get there, I'm sitting down, I'm at a table, and I'm texting him, hey, are you on your way? And I tried calling him, he didn't pick up. I just figured because he wasn't texting me back, he wasn't answering any of my calls, like, I'd been stood up. And so right before I leave, I decided to text him, hey, so what happened today? To which I never, ever get a reply. So as I was leaving the restaurant, a big part of me wanted to just go home and cry. Like, I thought that it was me. I thought that he stood me up because I wasn't worthy of his time and that something was wrong with me. But then another really big part of me that was trying to tell me the whole entire time that he was not worth my time took over. So I made a couple of stops, purchased a couple of things, went home, drew myself a bath. And I like to do this thing when I'm sad where I listen to the same song. It's Beggin' for Thread, but it's like my mantra. I listen to it on repeat and it makes me feel so happy, and I've cried to it before. It's my song that makes me feel better. So I was blasting this song, and in order to pamper myself, I had to take off my makeup. So first of all, not only did this boy waste my time, he also wasted my money, because the skincare and the makeup that I put in to getting ready for this date all went down the toilet, because now I had to take off my makeup so I could properly pamper myself. But to take off my makeup, I like to use Neutrogena's Deep Clean Purifying Micellar Cleansing Water, and I just like to put it on a cotton pad. It's really good at taking notoriously tough makeup off, like waterproof mascara, but it's gentle enough for my sometimes sensitive skin. And even though it's not necessary to rinse afterwards, I like to use the clay cleanser for a deep clean, because it uses alpha hydroxy acids to exfoliate dirt from the skin's surface, which clears the way for beta hydroxy acids to cut through oils to exfoliate inside and around the pores. And the coolest thing about this cleanser is that you can use it as a clay mask, and whenever I do that, my skin always feels so fresh and clean without getting that tight feeling. After I got my bath started, I'm listening to this song on repeat, and I'm already hyped, and I'm like feeling better about myself. The last thing I do to top it all off is I like to treat myself with a face mask. So if you're going for a really deep clean in your skin, you want to make sure that you're nourishing it afterwards and like it's moisturized. And so I love this mask because it's infused with seaweed extract, which works really great to soothe the skin and leave it looking healthy and soft, which is just like the perfect way to end this pretty crappy day, but like a really awesome night. So this is the only time that I was ever stood up, and if I could give any advice to you guys out there, he is the one that decided not to show up that day. But I did also ignore all the signs. You know, like he told me that he wasn't going to be able to commit, and yet I kept being like, no, like you can. And when someone tells you that they can't or that they don't want to, let them go. They're not ready. So even though it's not my fault that I got stood up, I definitely played a part in the whole situation. And so if you ever do get stood up, then know that it's not your fault. Know that, you know, you deserve someone that's gonna show up. Like, not just for this date, but like again and again. Do yourself a favor, go to Shoppers Drug Mart, get the Neutrogena Deep Clean Purifying line, pamper yourself, and use that time that they intended to waste and just use it on yourself. You deserve better than getting stood up, and honestly, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because, you know, like I was gonna have to get over him. We were never gonna work out, so it's better that happened sooner rather than later, and that he like showed me his true colors. I wanted so badly to go on that date and for it to work out and give him that second chance, because I had the fear of missing out. But sometimes it takes a really bad situation to realize the joy of missing out. So